All right, so what is the FDR? Maybe we can make this a lesson. So the FDR is a deployment CV. Well, what the hell is a deployment CV? Well, that's an excellent question. I'm glad you asked. So if your CV hull is over here, typically you're going to be interacting with two sections on the map. You're going to be interacting with this flank. You're going to be interacting with this flank. And you can move the CV's position to be more of an assistance over here, more of an assistance over here. But in general, I tend to take a pretty central position so that I can strike maybe one flank, do some work, and then go assist another flank, do some work, and vacillate between the two, trying to make sure that our team is ahead. The FDR does not do that. The FDR has very slow planes. The FDR is not responsive to situations. So whereas the German planes could, for instance, burn along at 230 knots, do a thing, and then immediately burn and do another thing over here shortly thereafter, this might be a 40-second flight time followed by a 40-second flight time. The FDR, however, if it sees, oh, there's something I need to do, the flight time's going to be much longer, in which case this might end up being a minute 10, which is almost the time that it takes for two strikes from the other CV. But once you get here, you start to have an insurgency kind of action. So you come out with 14 planes. They have very high health. They don't have a heal, and they attack 2 by 2. So you could theoretically attack up to 7 times with these. So you're going to make this long flight to go be in a position and then repeatedly harass, harangue, move, deal damage to a flank or an area on the map. You could take this time while you're over there to move your CV from one flank to the other flank, so that after you finish doing something here, you could work on the others. Although typically the FDR is going to focus on a contested side. Contested side meaning that there are many ships that are all together, all looking to brawl, and because you have so much health, you can breach through that to still be able to deal damage anyway. Because of the extreme amount of health and the extreme amount of planes that the FDR is able to throw into a situation, the enemy has to have some kind of coordinated positioning or strategy where they can all combine their AA to bring down the beast and to actually whittle through the planes significantly. It's not uncommon to see 14 planes come out, make a strike, and lose 7 planes for it, meaning that the FDR is only going to get 2 strikes and have lost maybe 10 planes in total, 10 or 11 planes, which is quite a large drain on your resources when it takes 1.5 to 2 minutes to regen your plane. But as far as the surface ship players' experience goes, holy shit, they shot the planes a lot and they still came through and they hit me, what the hell? Still, a coordinated defense is required, and the CV should actually be coming over and being able to drop a fighter, so that if the FDR makes the long journey all the way out to do a thing, they're going to attack once, shit, there's a fighter, and then leave. Rather than stay, rather than maybe lose a few planes or something, they'll leave. Which means that the minute and 10 that they lost trying to get from point A to point B, now they get to do it all over again to go find a different target. Oh, there's a fighter here too. I guess I have to leave. Okay, and they'll make the long journey out to find another target. So, as the CV that's against an FDR, using fighters and blocking their plane movement can force the FDR to recall and take the long journey back. As a surface ship group that's against an FDR, you want to make sure that you have an AA buddy or potentially 2 AA buddies, because the FDR is going to pounce on isolated ships and do extreme amounts of damage. The FDR is limited by a 25-second cooldown between attacks, and usually there's about a 5-second warm-up, so it basically translates out to it can attack every 30 seconds. So if it's come out, if it took its minute and 15 seconds or minute and 10 seconds to get from point A to point B, and then it can start attacking, then it starts attacking every 30 seconds until it runs out of planes. So it can attack, wait 30, attack, wait 30, attack, wait 30, attack, wait 30, attack, etc. So once it gets into a situation, you need to root it out. You need to go after it, pursue it. You need to make sure the planes are dead or driven off. Otherwise, it's going to keep harassing your teammates and potentially just straight up kill bitches. So the FDR's play pattern is very different than other CVs, because other CVs will tend to come out with, maybe 2 strikes worth of attacks, maybe 3, and then AA can very easily turn this into 2 or turn this into 1. And then you've come out, you've done your attack, you leave. You don't stay. You don't live in that section of the map constantly harassing people. That's where the FDR really becomes different.